Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Thiesel, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Television, radio, and podcast talk show. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, beginning at 2 p.m. on the Eastern time zone as I get to ride home with you in the afternoon. It's always such a fun ride. You can find us on television. We're syndicated, Abundance Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And don't forget the podcast on thenewscasters.com. You can also find us on the radio, the biggest country station in South Carolina, WZLA, in the 92.9 FM on the dial. Now, before we moved to South Carolina, we wanted to know what the area was like, and if you can find a station that does have a hometown talk show in the morning or the afternoon, you need to go listen to that show. And Phil and I did. And so we decided, we want to live in Abbeville. Just based on what we heard on the radio. So going ahead and check them out. They're a good station. I love the morning show, and they do a great, great job. Continue sending email. Definitely appreciate that. Donna@donnasedge.com. Donna@donnasedge.com. And we'll be glad to get your emails answered and get them to the appropriate people. You guys have sent Mary Lynn and Chuck Bailey, who are with Alabama Fair Tax, emails. A lot of it is about the prebate, and we'll be talking about that a little bit later in the show. But you guys have some really interesting news you want to share.
Yeah, good to be with you, Donna. It's nice and bright and sunny here. I don't know about where you are, but
It is here.
we've got some. We've been getting a lot of good sunshine lately, outside of that storm that we went through a couple of weeks ago. But what we got here is there's a new Council on Economic Advisors report to the U.S. government. Mm-hmm. And what they did is they went through and they looked at all the states and they said, what would happen if all the states got rid of their income tax? What would really be the problem with doing that? And in general, the finding is that everybody do better.
Yeah, we all knew that.
And the one of these, we've had several of the search engines these AI search engines do a look at it. Mm-hmm. And in general, they say that highlight a clear path toward faster growth, higher wages, and more state fiscal future than they have now. Everything, income tax kills everything. It slowly degrades, and then somebody has to come along and tinker with it a little bit to make it pop back up again. So you got all these dips and peaks and dips and peaks. And if you had a system that was just stable and would collect taxes based on what people spend, be a lot better off, because not only does it tell, not only is it more stable, the fact that it is a consumption tax, that the manufacturers have a better idea what people want to buy. And so the things that get manufactured would not, you wouldn't have excess of one thing and not enough of another thing. But overall, they said that it's great for the states to do that. Your GDP would rise, and the big comeback is none of these guys talk about having a prebate. They say get rid of the income tax, but they're only talking about individual, and the fair tax and the Alabama Economic Freedom Act get rid of all of it and replace it with a single rate consumption tax only on new goods and services that you purchase at retail for your own personal use. So and then there's a prebate in there to take care of the basics that you need to live, and then you start paying a tax after you get through that prebate. So
it also eliminates the bureaucracy that you have associated with collecting taxes, because if you just collect tax at one point and have one big pot that the government draws from, you don't have individual little fiefdoms,
Correct.
all over the place. It's the income tax and the way taxes are collected normally is much like the NGOs. They all handle the money, get paid to handle the money, have to, and then they have to determine who gets the money. And with the fair tax, it's all centralized, and the budget determines where the money is spent. And the fair tax is revenue neutral. In other words, it brings in the same amount of money as the current taxes do. So
they won't need any tax deductions for anything because there won't be any taxes to deduct from.
Yeah, well, and also it doesn't pick winners and losers. Everyone
That's the big
determines when they pay their taxes.
I kind of dig that because I'm a conservative, so I'm always really nervous. Am I going to get picked on? And I know it was once. I've shared that story with you guys a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes me a little leery. And, they say that, people who work, within the IRS are nonpartisan. I don't think so. Because if someone has a view that's a bit on the liberal side, they're going to come after me. I mean, that's just a gimme right there. Big glad to get a piece out.
That's another thing too. When you hear these stories, you hear the advertisements for the people who will help you pay your back taxes or help you lower your interest and so on. That just doesn't happen with the fair tax because you pay your taxes when you purchase something new or a service, and you're done. It's just like paying a sales tax, except it's actually a consumption tax.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry about that.
Well, and let's dig just a little bit about that, and because a lot of folks get themselves in debt. Okay, so they didn't save enough money to pay their taxes, and then after a couple 3 years, interest and penalties are outrageous. So it's like forever, the rest of their life almost, they're paying taxes. They're paying the interest and penalties on taxes.
Mm-hmm.
But if you eat the apple, or if you eat the elephant just one bite at a time, it's not quite so bad, which is kind of like you're doing with fair tax. It's kind of that way.
Exactly. You don't have that bulk tax that you pay. When you own your own home, you still have to pay property taxes. So you're renting your home from the state.
Yeah.
And, and that's a whole nother subject. But when you pay your taxes at the end of the year, when it's time to pay your property taxes, it's a big chunk. And so with the fair tax, we are hoping in Alabama that we will pay the property tax when you pay when you purchase something. So you're paying it as you go. It's not a big chunk that you have to set aside, and you also don't have to pay in advance and give a interest-free loan to the government.
Yeah, but I promise you, when they owe you money, it's not interest-free. Like, you do not make
Exactly.
interest off of them taking forever to pay you.
Right. And with the income tax also, you are guilty until proven innocent. So if you don't have evidence that you've paid the tax, you'll pay it again, and you'll pay the interest.
But you know what? We have boxes of stuff we're afraid to throw away, because what if we get that situation again that happened to us? And they go back further than 7 years, by the way.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're afraid to throw anything away, and you better keep it, pretty much well organized so you can jump right to it and get to it.
Just imagine how many trees you would save.
Yeah, to the tree huggers out there, you should love this idea.
Exactly.
Yeah, let's make sure that we're clear how all this thing would work. If, at the federal level, if you enact the fair tax, the first thing in the bill, it gets rid of all the income taxes. It repeals the law automatically, and it gives the U.S. government, the IRS, 3 years to cancel out all the tax bills and collection, everything
for past years.
To the ending year of when the fair tax goes into law, and they are defunded in 3 years, and so there'll be no income taxes anywhere past passage and enactment of that bill. And the other thing is all that paperwork and everything goes away for you too, because you don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah, and then my favorite part is they have to get rid of all of that data that they have collected. So I want to see that bonfire.
That would be a big one. It may set Chicago on fire again. I mean, another area.
There's a little escape clause there. You know, if we were so silly as to want to get rid of the fair tax, well, we've got 7 years to either decide to keep it or not. And the way you do that is within 7 years, you have to repeal the 16th Amendment, which allows the income tax. Mm-hmm. And if it's not done by the end of 7 years, well, then you've got 6 months to revert back to some kind of tax system, and the IRS will be gone by then. So you have to redo all that stuff and
start from scratch.
You have to start from scratch. So,
although I have to say that politicians can start from scratch and be there at day two. Yeah. I have sat in so many meetings where they are discussing, well, we could tax this, and the one thing I always say about the income tax is they're always using it to pit one group against another, and they say, we're not going to tax you, we're going to tax the man behind the tree. And the next day the tree planters go out and everybody's got a tree in front of them. So it wouldn't take them long. So it really is incumbent on us to repeal the 16th Amendment and demand that we do it on day one.
Yeah.
Well, I've noticed a lot of folks who are running for office seem to be at least looking at fair tax. But I'll tell you, one advocate you've got is Don Brown. He's running for U.S. Senate in North Carolina. I mean, he's all over the place. And I've seen some of his meetings, he tapes all of them. And so I've seen, and it's always one of the first things he talks about. And you can hear the crowd, some people have questions, but a lot of people know about it in North Carolina. I mean, they're just, all about it. But now it's everywhere he goes on the campaign trail, he's talking about fair tax.
That's important. We used to live in Georgia. And when we did, at that time, Neil Boritz was on the radio, and people in Georgia knew the fair tax. And if it could have been, put up to the vote to the people of Georgia at that time, it would have passed. Mm-hmm. And now we've had these, generations pass, or, young people come along, know nothing about it. And the memory is very short in politics.
Oh, most certainly is. Guys, we've got to hurry up and go into a commercial break already. We're already halfway through the show. Let's go to a break. We'll be right back in just a few minutes.
Twin City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant.
At
At Liberty Bank, we're all about community, whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need. Toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
Designs offers a line of handmade memorial, wedding, and keepsake jewelry that launched back in 1970. I'm a self-trained jewelry designer, and I will work closely with you to create unique designs you can love and treasure for years to come. Whether that be flowers that were used in a funeral arrangement or stones you found on the beach at a memorable trip, call me at 256-659-4319, and let's think of the possibilities.
Good afternoon. We are back. My name is Donna, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge television, radio, and podcast talk show. And I didn't mention this, but you can also find us on all the social media sites. We're everywhere. You can't get away from us, even if you tried. You're still going to run up on us. So we appreciate every avenue that we have, and appreciate all of our sponsors. And I do appreciate the confidence you guys have placed in us to advertise for you and to help grow your business. Definitely do that. I have Chuck and Mary Lynn Bailey with me right now. They're with Alabama Fair Tax, alfairtax.org. And I have a question from Timothy. And Timothy said he thinks it's a good idea, but when he has mentioned it to folks who are out on the campaign trail, he said it feels to him, and he's in Alabama, by the way. He's actually close to North Alabama, close to Scottsboro. And he said when he mentions it, they seem to walk away from him like they're either afraid of it or they don't want to do it. Why would that be?
It's a paradigm change.
Yeah.
It's people don't understand. In fact, we've heard when we present the fair tax to people, we have heard many, many things, but one of which was, well, we need roads, we need judges, we need police. And the thing that we try to introduce when we introduce the fair tax is to say it is not a spending bill. It is a collection source.
It's a more efficient method of collecting.
Much more
taxes.
efficient. And it doesn't pick winners and losers. It does exactly what Lady Justice is supposed to do with her scales. Everyone is equal under the fair tax. With the fair tax, everyone pays the fair tax, but by virtue of the prebate, which is something you can choose to take, is you can reject the prebate if you choose, but with the prebate, you pay no taxes up to the poverty level. And the way that is done is you receive an amount of money every month that would pay the taxes for your particular family size. It has nothing to do with how much money you make. It has only to do with the size of your family, the amount of money it takes for your family to exist. And
when you do the calculation for what the rate should be, it turns out that that's part of the calculation. You have goes into and comes out as in your study, and one of the things is that's taken care of. It's accounted for in the flow of money, the prebate. So you're going to get the prebate, and you're going to pay the tax when you buy stuff, but the prebate covers your taxes up to the poverty level for your family size.
And you get it in advance. You get it at the first of the month before you would spend that money. So it definitely covers for a family of four. He always knows the numbers.
No, I don't.
You don't know it?
It just changes.
Yeah,
it changes every
year.
It goes up every January because of the cost of living.
Yeah, Health and Human Services always determines the poverty level. And last year, I think
it was $600 something.
Well, it was 35 for a family of four. I think it was 35,000. You had to spend 40,000.
It's up about 40,000.
Again, I never remember the numbers, but it's about that amount before you ever pay taxes. And one other advantage of the fair tax is that it removes the embedded taxes, which are the taxes that are accrued at every level of. We essentially have a virtual VAT right now, because at every level of production, you have the producers pay income taxes, they pay Social Security and Medicare, so on. So the fair tax collects the money that would cover the Medicare, Social Security, and, well, in other words, FICA, and also
what she means is the rate covers all of that stuff rather than being taken out of your check when you get your check.
So when you get your check, you will get your whole check, unless your company has some form of taking money out for whatever, your 401k. Well, actually, you wouldn't even need a 401k anymore, because that's an income tax
based
element. So, and actually, if you have a 401k, which a lot of people do these days, when you take money out, you can do that at any age. There's no penalty, because the penalties that were assessed on taking money out of your 401k were assessed to income tax.
Yeah, because sometimes it would help, because we've been in a situation before where we're fixing up a house. We called it the money pit. And so we had to wait on a CD to mature one time, and we wanted to get a roof on it, because we pay cash for everything we do. So we had to wait on that to mature, because we would have had a penalty to pay for that.
Yeah.
And so that delayed the roof getting done.
Yeah, a CD is a different thing, though. A CD is a bank note, and you would be paying interest to the bank for getting your money out early. They wouldn't have that money to invest. So that's a different thing. But any IRAs, essentially all the retirement accounts would be just like the Roth IRA.
Yeah.
And,
sometimes people like GTE had a savings plan where you just buy stock, and then it crashed when Obama was president.
Right.
Yeah.
So that would not.
Whenever you cash those things in under the fair tax, you don't pay any tax on them, because you're just taking that money and putting it in the bank. Maybe
it would be like a savings account. However, you do
when you spend it.
Yeah, that's when you pay your tax.
When you spend it, you finally pay the tax.
Right.
And because
go ahead.
Because no matter what anybody says, that is where all taxes are paid. When you buy something
at
retail, you're paying all the taxes that have accrued on that product.
And used goods, the tax has already been paid on used goods. So you're not taxed again on used goods.
It just made no sense to me. I go to, say, a thrift store. Now, a lot of thrift stores don't charge tax. I don't know how they're getting out of it, but some do. They charge tax, and I'm like, this has already been paid once.
Yeah.
But I'm getting low deals anyway, so I really don't fuss that much about it. But still, it remains, in fact, that that's just the way it is. The big deal about prebates, and a lot of people just don't understand it. And I've got a feeling that a lot of the folks who are running for office, who are in office, don't get it either.
Yeah.
But it's to me, it's a great way. Fair tax in general is a great way to save for the future.
Yeah,
So,
it makes it easier to save too, because you're getting your whole paycheck. You're not getting a paycheck with hundreds of dollars removed from it.
It amazes me, the kids who are not taught in school, about when you get a job, if you make $10 an hour, you're not taking home the $10 an hour. You're not getting it. I mean, most of it, especially, and I've heard a lot of people say, well, I don't work overtime because I wind up not making anything.
And that actually has happened to us in our life. Christmas time, when Chuck was working, they would pay double time, sometimes triple time, wouldn't they? But the problem is, when you get that double time pay, you get put into the next tax bracket.
Into the millionaire tax bracket.
Right. And so you end up either losing money or and you definitely lose your holidays. So
that's done by design, because I mean, the people who are in charge don't want you to be successful. They want to keep you in slavery.
it's a form of indentured slavery.
Mm-hmm.
It is. It most certainly is. Another question that was asked was by Amanda. And so, and this was about the prebate. She said, I can't imagine why somebody wouldn't take it. But anyway, she wanted to know if that would actually be something that would be like, let me find her question. Okay, she wanted to know if it would be dependent sometimes on the cost of living. Is cost of living.
Each year the Health and Human Services goes through, and they every year I've seen they plus it up because they have to, and also the Social Security is covered by us. It goes up automatically because it's 35% of the fair tax.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, I think 35% would be about 8 cents. 8 cents out of that 23 cents on the dollar goes to Medicare and Social Security.
Mm-hmm.
Michelle,
actually, I think there are 2 states too that actually get a higher prebate: Hawaii and Alaska.
Yeah,
because
of the cost of living.
The cost of living is so much higher there.
Mm-hmm. Cost of fortune to live there. Michelle had a question too, and this is about people who are running for office. And she said she can understand why you wouldn't be for it, but she said she feels like more. I don't know where she lives. I'm assuming it's up north, but anyway, I don't know why I'm assuming that. But anyway, Michelle said that a lot of the politicians there don't even know what you're talking about, or they act like they don't. When you go to
they do.
They do, because when let's see, Barry Moore was here for the Republican Men's Club in January,
mm-hmm.
and his wife Heather, they're like peas in a pod. Everywhere he goes, she's there, and she said they are talking about the fair tax in Washington D.C. So something's going to have to be done, because you can't tariff your way into prosperity, because the tariffs will work. They'll help bring industry back, but then once the tariffs start, the reason for bringing the tariffs here, which is bringing manufacturing, once that starts settling out and you start getting less money because, well, most of the stuff's being built in the U.S., well, then something's going to have to give, and it's going to have to be something like the fair tax, because you wouldn't want to go back to the income tax after you've gotten rid of it.
I can't imagine anybody will go back to have an income tax in the first place. It's you're taxed on your labor, and instead of you aren't allowed to make choices with the income tax.
And by golly, the founders knew that. You will not find the word democracy or anything like that in the founders' papers. They were totally against it, as well as an income tax. That's the reason why they left.
Yeah.
Well, see, I mean, if people can take home more of their money, there'll be people who spend it on stupid stuff, cigarettes and stuff like that. Then there'll be people like me that'll save every dime they possibly can.
Yeah.
Then you've got the people in the middle. Mm-hmm. They'll enjoy it every once in a while. They're going ahead and take a trip. Phil and I would be somewhere in the middle. Now, every once in a while, I'd like to take a trip, and not feel like, well, do I need to hold this because I'm going to wind up having to pay the government some taxes, So there are different ways of looking at it. But I'm just going to tell you, anybody that's running for office who's just blatantly against it, I'm not voting for that person.
Nope.
I'm just not.
Yeah, and they will say things. I have had politicians say to me, probably not knowing that we were working for the fair tax, say, well, you do know that you'll pay an extra 30% on anything you buy, which is an absolute total lie, because first of all, the income tax goes away, so you'll have more money to spend. The tax, you will pay the tax, but you also have the prebate, which will remove taxes up to the poverty level, so that someone at the poverty level is paying no tax. Someone who is making twice as much as the poverty level will only be paying, I think, 11% tax, and that's only on what you spend, not what you buy. I mean, not what you
buy,
what you receive.
Yeah.
So and you absolutely are able. And okay, and also the embedded taxes, because the embedded taxes, which are approximately an average about 22% of the cost of an item.
Guys, we're going to have to call it a day. You guys will be coming back again really soon anyway, so we're going to finish up this discussion when you guys come back. Thank you so much for watching Donna's Edge, and thank you again so much for the email. Oh, by the way, the winner of the book is, who did I say it was? Amanda Adams. So Amanda,
Okay.
congratulations, you win the book. And we'll talk about that next time too. But anyway,
Okay.
thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.